Hello, everybody. We're back. We're back straight in, which is strange because normally we do like a little bit of a warm up thing, but the match was live 2 minutes before schedule. So, yeah, 10 o'clock was definitely the scheduled time for the start, but evidently they want to go a little bit quicker. Understandably, it is late. I don't know what time it is in Russia right now. I think they're like 4 hours ahead, Jammer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 4 hours ahead is the majority of the population, I believe.
Yeah, so it's going to be. Well, actually, according to Moscow Standard Time, it is. Why is it telling me +1 day? Anyway, whatever. It's whatever time it is in Russia is whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. I thought we were starting straight away at 10 o'clock, and that there would be like 10 minutes of getting players in and everything else, and you and I would have had our like usual, pre-match chat and whatever. But evidently not. We are still waiting on a player to jump in though. So I mean that's bought us a couple of seconds to figure out what the heck is going on, at least anyway. But we are going to be joining Team ER on Inferno against Team AAO. AAO being the name for them. Although you gave me a different name a minute ago, so I'm confused now already.
I mean, I think
when is there not a day of me being confused? Yeah. Tracking all of that.
I'm just wondering how many A and O jokes we're gonna make.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. To give you a bit of a run through their previous games, they played against ESEA Sasvoda and Anti-Malso, and they've won every game so far. 16-3, 16-8, and 16-13 in previous matches. So this is either going to be a really quick game because Team ER are on the back foot already with a first game loss, and so far it's just all AAO as they push in completely through the entirety of EsportsWales' lines. Laugh will have something to say about that though.
Yeah, it's not the strongest start.
No, not really, is it?
Well, regardless, I'm sure Laugh is going to try and make something of it. He does have a kit, no armor though, so a sneeze will take him out at this point. But sneeze is definitely going to be required to put him down because he's making his way over. Pistol round, of course, is a pivotal round to win. Picking it up will allow you to, gain some advantages into the following rounds that you can buy up, and that will be the end of pistol as A takes it over the line.
Stop it now. I know we very rarely do this, and there's a reason why we very rarely talk about crosshairs and that. But some of the crosshairs I've seen so far in this match, specifically from the AAO team, have been a little bit wild. To be completely honest with you, I'm not liking some of them, to be frank. There's a few like single dot crosshairs, not really my kind of thing. But again, it's all players' preference. Do you have like a small crosshair like that, or do you prefer quite a wide one?
No, I actually go for a broadcast crosshair because it's just really easy to see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've just got the white crosshair with the black outlines. I do like change it every other day though, to be honest.
I see. Once I've got one and I like it, I stick with it, and I just don't want to. I don't change it ever. Like I don't think I've ever changed my crosshair. I may have lost it once or twice while I've been reinstalling CS for whatever reason, or doing stuff like this. The early days of doing solo observing, you kind of would have to play around with the crosshair a bit. But yeah. I don't think I've ever changed mine since. Oh, bit of team damage laid out. I mean, this is the reason why we're talking like this generally through this round is because it's very much like on the back foot from a yard perspective. That one pick from Tree will do nicely as far as building a little bit of money up. But realistically speaking, when you're going up against a full set of AKs like that, it's very hard to overcome that high potential chance of a round loss.
Yeah, I mean, they did semi-force into it, so a couple of their players you can see are still knocking below $2.5K, but they'll be able to full eco here and just kind of sit behind this full eco, be able to build up that money and then buy into the next round. It will mean, however, that AAO have a strong advantage into this round, and so the natural course of things should bring us to an AAO round win, but we'll see what happens. Thanks. Well, we've got a bit of downtime actually. Hello to the new people joining us. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and
thank you very much.
To those of you returning.
Yeah, indeed. I know we had a brief sort of half an hour, 41-minute break in between, which is quite nice. But we are now back at it, so to speak. It's that favoured four-man stack that you and I both like from an eco team, just all pointed in one direction.
Oh yes,
Yes,
that's what I wanted. Nova coming in clutch. He was in Twitch chat earlier. I mean, yeah, just absolute meme of a lad. I love it.
Yep. If you can do it and you can get away with it, go for it. You know, why not? That's what I always say. Free AK out of that. You know, if you can retain it as well, even better. I wouldn't necessarily say push for a site and try and retake with a single AK going up against, you know, a full stack of AKs that are left against it. But yeah, why not? The only player we can see that's pushed up that deep, at least anyway, the other side of CT spawn is Tree 60. Definitely a South Park reference. Laugh is also swinging out there, but will get taken down by Rock. Yeah, Nova's just got to retain this AK, basically, isn't it? That's the way to do it now. Buy up around the AK as well. 350 is good. 360 is his name. Sorry, 350 is a South Park reference. I wondered if 360 is a play on words of that same South Park reference.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know which one I'm on about?
Yeah, 350.
Yeah. About 350? Yeah, okay, that's fine. As long as we're both on the same page, that's fine. He was the Loch Ness Monster. Sorry. Anyway, right. Go on here.
Would 360 be Tree City?
Tree City? I don't know. I think
we
might
be
clutching.
I think we're offended.
I think we might be clutching now, to be honest with you, with this joke. I think the joke has run its course 100%. But we'll come back to that, though. I feel like we should potentially come back to that and address that point later on. I'm going to shoot a message over to Anders. Anders is EsportsWales is I think he's head of CS game manager now for CS teams, for both teams. So I'll fire a message over to him and be like, right, you need to give us a lowdown on 360. Is it South Park reference, or is it Tree City? Is it what is it? And have him come back to him and be like, I have no idea what you're on about. That's literally the message. I'll get a reply back off him like, are you both drunk? Is probably the message we'll have back.
All right, should we start focusing on CS, Nick?
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, pushing forward. AAO have moved themselves all the way up into B site itself, and there's not really much of a defense in place. But I was going to say there's not much of a defense in play, but there actually is. And Laugh is also spamming shots out towards A site as well. A and B, sorry, I should say. Trying to get those additional picks.
We saw both the AWPers fall at the start of that round, and that's a really big loss to take at the start of a round. Somehow they've managed to claw things back, and okay, now it's a 1 versus 2. Things are starting to even out to where they should have been. But
yeah, exactly.
There was a moment in time where that could have been flipped on its head. You know, you lose both your AWPers straight at the start of the round, and then somehow make a miraculous recovery into this CT side win. It's not going to come to fruition, and Laugh is going to recover this AWP. But man, don't we love to live in the daisy chain land of fairy tale?
Yeah, I mean, there's a world here where they all go for this extra pick as well. I mean, they've got cash to kind of spread amongst themselves. You know, you're going to be looking at 2 players on 8K plus after this round finishes anyway. So realistically speaking, losing a single AK to try and recover an AWP is a good idea from their perspective, which is why we're seeing, I think it's Dictator even trying to go for that additional pick, and he's not going to have a chance to get it, unfortunately. But that does mean an AWP recovered for Team Yar. Will play quite nicely into it. Buy up around the AWP, I think, is probably a good idea at this point.
Yeah, it's still early days. You know, it's only round 5, and this is absolutely a time where you can build one of these swing rounds, even though you might not have the best firepower or the most utility. If you can make some plays and get those early picks into the round, then there's a round win absolutely on the cards. There is going to be a lot of aggression towards Banana, though, and I don't think ER are quite prepared for it. They're trying to throw out some counter utility and halt this aggression, but it's not going to be that effective. And I want to kind of say there's a little bit lack of finesse to it, because it didn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah, it didn't, and you know, that misplay with utility can spell the death of a push on to B site. Although X27 and Slena are doing all they can to try and recover something off the back of it, it feels like a wasted journey now, and they're going to have to spend utility to try and pull back as well. Oof, say again, X27 is still pushing forward into it, and he'll pick up another kill in the favour of Nova. 360.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good kill. Oh, we had 2 back-to-back good kills, one after another. The smoke will also pick up an additional frag. 360 is a man alone, 1v4. He's got to be locking down the defenses now as well. We can see how AAO are going to play this. They're going to push it to try and take that all back as quick as they can. That initial missed shot will spell the death of 360, however, and we go 5-0 in favour of AO.
Yeah, that round was really contingent on a couple of points there. That top mid aggression and taking out Laugh, and that banana aggression where, they tried to flash themselves in, but both of the AO players were playing anti-flash, and it's just not worked out whatsoever. It seems like AO were sat in the perfect positions at the perfect, like counter plays to what ER are trying to throw at them, and it's not quite worrying just yet because it's still a little bit early. But this is kind of like the point where if you're an ER player, you could start, getting into that kind of negative mindset and start to think, guys, are we going to be able to put a round on the board? Because AO are up to 6 already.
Yeah, it's like a make or break situation, really, isn't it? At this point now, where you've got the money backed up into it, you need to start really kind of considering your options up against a team like AO, where they seem to be quite versatile, pushing into different, both different sites. How do you kind of lay a defense in place when you've got quite versatile players coming at you like that? Missed time flash there, down towards Banana. That will force TBR to give some ground towards AO if they do want to push up that deep.
There's a bit more of a passive setup. What were you going to say, sorry?
I was going to say, I always find with this map, and I obviously you being a coach would be different, but I always find that it's one of the more hardest sites to kind of really put a good defense in. You're almost always fighting a losing battle with ground being taken.
Yeah. B site is really pivotal because once you've lost banana control like this, it's pretty much just how many can you take out before you lose the site. It's not really a matter of can you hold the site anymore. Oh, Rocky. He gets some space out towards the short area. He picks up one, and Zaylen almost takes down Nova. He will get blinded, dabbing to his death as B-site does indeed fall, and that should be the end of Exel. I want to say Exel.
Exel, yeah, we're gonna go with Exel.
All right. But yeah,
Axel. I think I want to just point this out very quickly as we're in the dying couple of seconds of the round. We'd expect 360 and Zerx to want to retain the weapons, but yeah, the minute you lose that B control on Banana, that's it. It's more or less game over, and as you said, it's fighting then to try and retain as many frags as possible off the back of it. Ooh, nice kill coming in there onto Slyn. I think it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, with B-site? You either play too far deep and you lose that side control really early on, with no chance of recovery at all, or you play 1 deep and then 2 just behind and maybe tuck 3 into B-site that way, knowing that you're going to potentially lose that front man. It's such a... it's such a difficult site to really retain that control on, and you got to be really spot on with your retake for it as well.
Yeah. To answer the question in chat, I think you're referencing EsportsWales Team Tan, and they did lose their match earlier today in an overtime loss, so that was unfortunate for them. But yeah, you can keep up to date with everything that's going on Twitter, right?
Yes, yeah, Twitter will have that. The individual teams have their own Twitter pages, and you can also see the updated scores and that coming in from the main ESW page. The final score was 19-17, and it was on Mirage.
Yeah. There we go. All the hottest action brought to you here. Oh, these ER flashes, they've been missing the mark more often than not, honestly. I applaud them for going for it, don't get me wrong, but when they're just not working out, like time and time again, at what point do you just go, okay, guys, like it's just not connecting in the way that we want it to? Maybe we need to rethink, the flashes that we throw, or go back to the drawing board on that one. They are going to lose B site, in fact, and it is a 3 versus 4, but with a loss of site control, it's really important to hold down this church area, and if they lose this church control, that's it, the round's over. Luckily, the AWP does get taken down, and the retake is now on because this ER team are closing down from every angle. There's 1 in Banana, 2 from CT area, and if they can get the info, they can trade off each other, but Lazarix gets taken out as well as Laugh, and Oh, that's really unfortunate there. I was trying to like, build some hype into their retake, give them a bit of a hope, but they just fall at every single fight that they take, and that's a really nice hold in the end from AO.
Yeah, 360 put a lot of weight in the shoulders there. The two really quick picks to try and rotate himself back from A to get himself into position to help out with B was quite nice. He got the over rotation players coming in from AO, and it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. As you said, he was able to get that initial pick into Church, and just nothing else from it, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we need to go back a couple of steps to your earlier mention of round counts. Like at one point, Iago, okay, this stop beating a dead horse is not working, and this changed things up to try and make something work for us.
Mate, they've started doing the thing. They've started playing Hero CS. They seem to be losing hope a little bit, and that's coming out with these desperation plays, pushing into apps through a molly, and then pushing into sandbags against all odds. Nova, oh, okay, that double makes things interesting, but it might be too little too late. Wait to see what happens as AO makes their way over towards the B site. Nova's going to go in for more. He's going in for seconds. He wants pudding and he picks it up, but unable to clean up the last little scrapings. There are two more players from AO to match against the two players from ER. But it's all about who can hold off this retake, because the plant should come through shortly. As I say that, though, Tree tried to take him out and gets punished for his initiative. That's unfortunate for him. It is just on Laugh. A 1v1 now. Styx is low. This is definitely anyone's game, but that AK one-shot potential is always going to be a critical factor. That's a really good play as well. Pushing through construction, I doubt Laugh is going to consider this. It's just about whether he can adjust in time. There you go. And he's unable to. Styx out game sensing him by a bag load.
Yeah, it's that noise, isn't it? That little bit of a noise cue. Okay, he's dropped down. Does that mean he's tucked up short, so he's close to? I keep calling it barbecue, but I know it's not barbecue anymore. But you know what I mean? Is he tucked up close to that position? Pool now, yeah. Is he tucked up real close, so he's hidden by the coffin? Is he swung out wide, so he's back towards flower pots? Like whereabouts could he potentially be? You're just not expecting that rotation to come in through the back of Church. It's a really good play, really good play by Rock.
Oh, that's a virtuous opening deagle kill, and with two players falling down, that could, kind of build AO into a false sense of security. Oh, that's a noise key, though, I think. Nova's given his position, but he's got a kill. Oh, if he could stay alive a little bit longer, then Tree might have been able to rotate in to support him. There is just a rotation in now to try and hold off this site take, which should be coming in, but a 3 versus 2 on a deagle round isn't a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, AO have done really intelligent things here, though. They've got rid of those AKs that would drop behind them. So, if they do lose their cover mana Sticks, then they know they're not going to be fighting against two AKs cut behind, or I think it's actually one AK, one open, in fact, that they've dropped behind. They've got rid of some of the weapons, at least anyway, so they know they can't be recovered by Team ER.
Yeah, that's a really smart play as well from the player that you named, Sticks. And he's going to be lurking in the back lines. He can call that this A site's free, and the bomb is going to make its way over there. This, speculated utility usage on the B site will commit ER, while the rest of the team just make their way over to A. So, really good play from AO overall.
Yeah, I mean, he sold it perfectly, didn't he? And, Smock, he's part enough utility there to really pull the entirety of ER into it, thinking, right, it's going to come in a couple of seconds, they're going to start pushing into us. But in the end, it doesn't, unfortunately. And again, there's going to be no guns, as far as I'm aware, for them to recover from that location, because they've all been tossed. Well, there'll be one AK at least, anyway.
An AWP, you mean?
An AWP, that was, even.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, never mind.
Well,
you could see them scrambling to try and get down towards T-Spawn there.
Yeah.
But it's just no avail, unfortunately.
It's like that moment in Finding Nemo with the seagulls, and they're both scrambling like mine.
Yeah, immediately. It's like, wait a minute, we dropped an AWP there. Let me go and recover it real quick. And both players are able to swing out at the same time and get those quick, easy kills.
It's like a honey trap.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, you've got two options, haven't you? Either rotate back towards the unknown, which is up towards B, where you potentially could have players rotating through and into you, or you continue down towards T site and you leave your back completely exposed like that.
This is curious. Yeah, I've gone back to that double up setup that failed them earlier on.
Yeah, missed the initial shot as well. I think that was Axel.
Ooh.
Well, that's
Nova, the trigger discipline.
good.
He knows where the second is. Oh, unfortunate
Oh.
not to get that one. He is leaving his sole teammate Axel. I'm gonna get slated for getting that name wrong, but oh well. AAO, they're gonna take top mid control, and that means that the A site is extremely weak. Even as Tree was trying to rotate over, he'll be out of position, and if he swings out on a timing, he might get caught out, but he gets lucky with the timing. He can support his teammate, and in fact, he can be ahead of that smoke. Oh, unable to connect, and with him falling, it really should be a save from this final ER player.
Yeah, keep the AWP. He's not going to, though. I mean, look at him. He's pushing already towards Archway. He's going to get caught out by Dictator here.
Oh, the timing.
Oh, the timing. Never mind. So, yeah, like, part unlucky and part maybe misplay as well from Team Yar. You know, saving the AWP would have been probably the better option. I get the feeling, obviously, you know, for going for an exit. You know, an early exit can help you out in the long run, but
yeah.
You know, in Axel's position, he's what, 35 HP, I think he was at the time, or 45 HP he was at the time. You know, he's got the AWP, he's got the only weapon really that can be pulled into the next round, and he's got plenty of time to kind of hide, for lack of a better way of putting it. He just does not to. Slender will pick up one, but he'll get taken out immediately by Nova, and X27 and Smoke are just clearing house over on Banana. There's a boost in play, though.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this, because this will give, you know, even if they get a kill or two, it gives all the info. Oh, that's the bomb, actually. Okay,
that's nice.
Doesn't matter. It's not dropped in an unfortunate spot. But I was going to say, the original thing I was going to say is it gives all the info to AO, so they can just run to A like they were doing here. They're a bit unlucky with the bomb dropping, but things are going to stabilize, or so it seems, as we end up in this 2 versus 2 situation. There's no kit, and there's barely any armor to speak of, but bullets do damage, and they can definitely connect, although it does seem like AO are going to connect their bullets, and that'll be the end of ER in that eco. Again, they're getting close on these eco runs. It's almost like they're doing better with the pistols, but it's just not able to bring it across the line because AO are up to 12-0, and this is almost dire straits now, Nick.
Yeah, it genuinely feels like it's already, I think to be, you know, it's safe to say we're already at dire straits, which is incredibly unfortunate. You know, from a Team BR perspective, like we want to see them do as well as they possibly can. It's just unfortunate we're in this kind of scenario where you're on the back foot. Well, you're on the back foot with what feels like almost every single round going against you, and every single play going against you.
Yeah. Seems almost as if, you know, we know that ER are a newer team and they've definitely had less games together than TAN that we saw earlier. It definitely seems like that's the case, and they're playing as if, you know, it's almost an game. And I don't want to say that, you know, very brashly and, you know, it come off as an insult or anything, but
no, of course not.
There is a kind of lack of cohesion that I'm seeing from these players. It is hero CS style things, and there's a little bit of kind of roughness around the edges from their play style, even just from like the missed flashes that we're seeing, the bad time nades, like double mollying Banana on like timings that just aren't, you know, optimal. And I don't know, I kind of want to see them go back to the drawing board after the, you know, even the earlier loss today, and it looks like this one's going to follow suit. Just go back to the drawing board, work on a couple more scrims together, and try and, you know, get some formulations for timings down and set plays that they can do to fall back on, because right now it just kind of seems like a bit of a hopeless situation.
I'm never normally one to really throw this word out there, and the reason I'm never normally one because I didn't like it when I played in teams, not in CS but in PUBG and that. Like there feels like there's a need for discipline. Like,
yeah,
that sounds, it's a really horrible word to use because obviously it can be misconstrued in multiple ways. But discipline, you know, in this sort of team, I think would really sell. Would really help them in longevity more than anything. You know, get that understanding that there's a time and a place for hero CS tactics, and there's a time and a place for, you know, legitimate tactics that are pulled together by you know, someone who's a confident coach.
Yeah. Okay, that's a small detail there, but
yeah,
picking up the AK in that position maybe isn't as useful to your team as, you know, trying to find that information first. Or trying to like spot out what play's coming ahead. Obviously, they know now that it's going to be a B setup, but if Laf, goes for a bit more of an informed play there, then they can position around that earlier. They can rotate early, maybe even use some counter nades before the hit comes in. But I'm just banging on and being very negative about him right now. But it's like
it's
small
understandable.
details that are summating into kind of like these dire situations that they're ending up in.
Let's look at it like this as well, okay? Xerxes and Laf there were the last two players to rotate from B side, from A side, sorry, to B. Okay, Bomb was already spotted there. Bomb was already in play essentially at that point. So for them not to rotate that early, that already tells me that like it's well and good having people to cover your CT side. You are right to look for players that are going to be. You're looking for off angles to catch out on, looking for lurk plays to catch out on. Coming up the backside of CTs that they take as they try to retake. But when you know that all your eggs are in one basket at one site, the bomb is in play at that site as well. There's not really much point in two of you staying behind to do it. Do you know what I mean? There's that lack of discipline in the sense of like, okay, all rotate because we've seen bomb. We know there's 4 left alive and there's 4 of us pushing. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's unlucky. That is through smoke.
What is going on?
Another 2 really unlucky kills there on Nova and Axel straight through smoke again.
The thing is, I don't even know if unlucky is the right word because they just literally walked into a player that was spraying on one position, and like obviously it's a lot more chaotic and so on in the server, but this is kind of fundamental stuff that they need to be bringing in from their experience leading up to this point. Obviously, this isn't going to be foreign to these players. They played a lot of CS in their lifetimes, and they should have the wherewithal to not get flustered in these situations, but they are just getting flustered, and there's no round way about it.
It's unfortunate. It could be an early night though for Team Ya as we see them step into the second half, and hopefully with something a little bit better to put on display for us. I think this one is. What?
Has Nova given the jig up because he's just typed in chat?
Nova. Let's go.
All right, chat predictions. Is it 16-0?
Yeah, exactly. Nova and Laugh. Now the both of you are in chat. There is a delay with the ESEA, so we can only see what happens 2 minutes after. We know now for next time. But I would imagine that this pistol round is going to be a very quick round, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there's 2.
There's a third. Okay, there's trades coming through.
Nice, Axel.
There are some low players, so it's not like it was a stomp.
No, exactly. It's all to play for still. We could still. This is still recoverable, even though that Laugh and Nova are both players for Team Yarn. They're both in chat talking. Oh, never mind. Now it's not recoverable. Unless Nova does like a 1v4. Nova, are we going to see a 1v4? We're not.
Oh,
never mind. Unlucky Nova. Very unlucky indeed. Both both me and Jamo were rooting for you there at least.
Yeah.
For the 1v4.
I hope that's the first and only 16-0 that we see against Esports Team Wales team this season.
Yes,
but we'll see.
Definitely more to play for, at least anyway, as we go into the next stages of the start of their season. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you and I are no longer casting for the next 2 days.
I don't think so.
I think we're on the 19th, and we're going to be covering Team Yar again. So, you two in chat, we can see you obviously. I want to see improvements by the time. We want to see improvements by the time we come to catch you on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. If Thursday is the right date, yes, it is. So we'll see you on the 19th for the next one. You already know I'll be in the next game. Oh, there you go. So potentially a change up. Any closing words for you? Is it your brother? Is it not a change up then? I'm just going to time him out if that's all good. No, but thank you very much for joining us. Jammer, any closing words for yourself, mate, before we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah, just thanks to everyone that joined us earlier today, came back today, and hopefully, these Esports Wales teams can go back to the drawing board, and losses are always, better to draw from improvements in the future. So, just get a demo, watch together. Make sure that, okay, in tough losses like this, I'll give you a bit of free advice from Coach Jammer.
Coach Jammer, here we go.
Tough losses like this, there's bound to be some sort of, grumbles and begrudges between each other in a team. You're going to get annoyed at your teammates for some reason or another eventually. It's important before you split off after a game and do your own thing to kind of reconcile the grievances that you have. Otherwise, that will build into bigger snowballs, and it will just lead to the downfall of the team, no matter how long it lasts. You've seen it time and time again in these pro teams, where they've had bad losses and they've stopped believing in the cause or whatnot, and they just get annoyed at each other. So make sure that you spend like 2 to 5 minutes just at the end to just say like, hey boys, like if you've got anything that you really need to get off your chest, like get off the chest, because otherwise you end up in an unfortunate spot where a team disbands before the end of the season. So unlucky to both of the Esports Wales teams today. You can go back to the drawing board, and having a loss today just means that next week's bar is set a bit lower, and that means that you can work to improve from this level that you've set yourselves today. So go back to the drawing board, come back to it, and come back stronger next time.
Exactly. From me, though, thank you very much for watching. Once again, we'll see you on the 19th for Team Yar's next venture into ESEA. But otherwise, enjoy games. If you want to get involved in more games, by the way, Esports Wales, get involved with them. Discord details are below, and also Twitter details are on your screen. Myself and Jammer are both commentators for CS. If you want to follow us on Twitter, by all means do so as well. You can keep up to date on all the stuff that we're up to, whether it's Esports Wales related, CS related, or like my normal tweets are just general whinging and moaning about random stuff. But thank you very much for joining us this evening, and have a great evening all. Bye-bye.